What's up, sports fans? Listen, Crawford Spence. Just want to make a quick video with my feedback. First of all, shout out to my high school classmate who decided to broadcast the full fight via multiple mirrors and angles out of his home, off of his laptop. You're the GOAT for that one, man. You're the GOAT. Yeah. Not sure if a lot of people had, $90 to spend on the fight, but listen, real quick. Just wanted to give a quick synopsis of feedback for this fight and from what I saw. First of all, shouts out to Bud Crawford. This was like watching two of your friends fight, right? I don't know either one of these dudes, Spence or Crawford, but you kind of get the feeling that, you've grown up with both of these guys, right? You know both of them. You feel like they're both good dudes, and you want both of them to win. It's like they had to go up against each other at some point. Nobody was the villain in this particular situation, which made it kind of weird, right? But in this case, man, it turned out that, Spence was coming in with most of the belts and, for the most part, had the most to lose. And coming up against Crawford, who's the older guy, but the more skilled fighter, it was going to be an interesting clash of talent. And clash is what we saw. I think, for the most part, for me, watching the fight, I wanted to see if Spence could overpower Crawford. That was going to be the key to the fight. If Spence can overpower him, make him use energy trying to get away or trying to get off of clinches and trying to get space with push-offs and things like that from Spence, I felt like Crawford would have a shot to win if he was able to get off of some of these clinches, but he was going to have to expend energy doing so, in which would have been a plus for Spence. Spence's whole career has been pressure, and just smother you until you tire out and you become, just kind of just drained, and you either get knocked out or you lose on points. I would say 2 points in the fight that showed me all I needed to see. At one point, I want to say it was early in the second round, before the knockdown, they were clinched, and Bud Crawford was the aggressor and pushing Spence off. And Spence kind of did a hop backwards, which kind of threw me back a little bit, like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay. So Spence is not going to have the overwhelming power in this one as we thought. And the second one was that knockdown in the second round. It was kind of an eye opener, right? It was a jab. Spence had no defense for the jab, which blew me away. I mean, Crawford was already going to be the faster puncher, the faster reflex guy, but those jabs were crushing Spence. I mean, after the second round, Spence's whole face was red. I mean, some say it was the car accident, the work that he's had on his face, and just the stress of having so much work done over the past couple of years. But good God, man, that was disturbing. Honestly, I think Bud is the GOAT for this, right? Spence should have been gone by the third round. Real talk. There's no way in the world Bud does not finish Spence in the third round if he didn't want to, give the fans a little bit of satisfaction watching him beat Spence down. I mean, it wasn't even close. And the biggest thing was Spence had no defense for the jab. So the jab, honestly, it looked like a Mayweather fight from the, when Mayweather normally gets to like the fifth or sixth round and he's like pot-shotting these guys and their head is snapping back. Spence looked like a Mayweather opponent where it's like the fight's not even a challenge anymore. It's like, it's like he's toying around with him. Crawford was snapping Spence's head back so bad that the crowd was ooh and ahhing throughout the fight. And that's normally what you see when an elite fighter fights a scrub. So for Spence to be, essentially the big fish getting treated like a rag doll, that blew everybody's mind. So shout out to Bud Crawford, man. Bud is the GOAT. I hope this dude gets enormously rich over the next 4 or 5 years. He's on the other half of 30 right now, so he has a few more elite years before he starts to go into those hey, should he retire, I wouldn't take this fight, Bud, you're too old years. But dude, mega fights all the way around, man. I mean, sky's the limit for him. I don't know if he drops down and goes for a couple of mega fights against Tiafoe or some of those guys down in the 140 range, or if he goes up and meets Charlo, that seems like a big fight. That'll be interesting there as well. For Spence, look, man, he got the big payday. Personally, putting health first with all that he's been through with car accidents and everything else. Looking at the reality of the more you age, Father Time is undefeated. So look for Spence, maybe look for a couple of mega fights moving up, Canelo or somebody like that in the bigger weight ranges, and try to go the Mayweather route and pick and choose the right opponent for your style. And he's one or two more losses away from seriously having to look at retirement. I mean, and it's not because of the losses or the ineffectiveness of winning. It's the overall health. And he's not a normal fighter now that he's had a couple of major accidents, one where he was thrown out of the vehicle with reconstructive surgery here and reconstructive surgery there. The body is only meant to take but so much of a pounding. So with that being said, great fight overall. Shout out to Bud for carrying the fight for another 6 rounds from the 3rd through the 9th, and giving the people somewhat of their money's worth. And shout out to my boy on Facebook, man. I just knew we were going to get shut down, midway through the third or fourth inning, third or fourth round. And hey, man, Facebook let it ride, and the 30 of us that was on the stream, man, that came in clutch. So look, boxing is back. I'm looking for some good fights with from the 140 pound, the Canelo Charlo fight. Hopefully that comes through. Bud Crawford being the pound for pound guy. You got some heavyweight fights coming up that should be pretty interesting. Boxing needed this. Boxing needed this more than anything. So looking forward to see what happens next. Looking forward to these fights in the fall. And yeah, man, this is great. So let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you think I'm cheap for not buying the fight, it is what it is, man. Get your own hustle. So hey, we'll see you on the next one. Appreciate y'all for checking out the conversation. And hey, football season is almost in, so more content coming soon. We'll talk to y'all.